Hi, I'm Dane. I just got done turning this little bowl. It's a beautiful, highly figured piece of maple that was given to me. It's about 6 inches in diameter, about 2 inches tall. This bowl took me a little bit longer than it usually does for me to turn a bowl of this size. A lot of trouble with the grain wanting to pick out because it was so highly figured. I think it was absolutely worth it in the end. It's a gorgeous bowl. So yeah, you're gonna get to see me work my way through all those problems. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm here at the lathe. I have this beautiful piece of silver maple that I got from a guy. It was an offcut of a slab. It was a beautiful slab that he turned into a dining table. So this bowl is going to be made out of that scrap. It's gorgeous. You can see that broad figure. It runs right the way through. So I have a hole from when I cut it out on a bandsaw. I'm going to be doing this on a screw chuck. So small hole. Screw chuck. My mess cleaned up a little bit. All right. Small spacer. Start the lathe 600. Feed it on. Stop the lathe and cinch it up. So lock the spindle, doesn't need much. And that should stay on there great. Little choice for roughing this down. 1/2 inch spindle gouge, 1/2 inch flute. The idea is going to be to get the corner off with pull cuts, deal with any splits that might be in the piece, and then go from there. I might have to have the dust on. This stuff might be pretty dusty. I'm assuming it's kiln dried. See how it's working. Not too bad. Still the remnants of a split there. If you can see, it runs right there, so it runs right the way across. Ends about there. So mark which side that is. Work that split away. Seems to have gone a little remnant up here, but that'll disappear, so. Good, that's good. Nice, okay. So I just come true up the bottom. And then this is going to go into some step jaws. Like an appropriately sized foot. I'm hoping for a utility dish here. So now the tool rest is going to come up. Okay, nice fresh burr on the scraper. You can see that. Hopefully that gives me a little bit better results. Still not great. Okay, so the bottom is going to have to be a push cut. 3/8 spindle gouge. And the goal is to just have that concave Looking pretty good, cut pretty cleanly. That's nice. Still a little bit of pick out on the figure, but it's to be expected. So yeah, pretty heavily undercut. That's going to get a little less undercut. Okay, shaping up the side of the bowl here. Again, I'll come in on my line. Come true up the top of the bowl. And over the sharp corner. Still not true up top. Gently towards the end. Move that sharp corner. And stop, check, see how we're going. Yeah, looking good. Okay. That's most of the shaping done. Is this a split here? Doesn't seem to be. Okay, good. So this is a beautifully figured plate. I don't want to take away from that at all. So I'm going to come in with a bowl gouge, do a push cut. See how that's looking, lovely shavings. Yeah, cut beautifully. Actually still a little bit fuzzy on the end grain here. We'll see what shear scraping does. Feels pretty good. As I'm shear scraping using the lower half of the edge, you see where the dust is coming off? That's the portion of the edge I'm using. When I'm turning, I'm also looking up here at the top horizon instead of down here to watch the shape develop a little bit more accurately. Pretty good shape. So now I'll come in and refine the foot. Possible bead at the bottom of the foot, see how the wood's taking the detail. Typically figured wood doesn't take detail that well, likes to pick out, right? So it seems to be pretty good. Surface looks pretty good. I like that, okay. Just round that over a little bit more, round over this corner. A little bit of detail on the bottom. Oops. That little snatch right there is because I rolled the tool over a little bit too much. Okay, looking good. All right, so now I touch this with, I throw it in reverse, give it a quick burst with 180. The abrasive will highlight any torn grain you might have. Looks pretty good. Besides tool marks and lines and things like that. So dust collection on. So quick buff with the shavings. And the beeswax. Oily waxy sock. Less waxy and oily sock. Get off the residual. Just get a nail into the details here. And beautiful, beautiful figure silver maple. Okay, so now it gets flipped around off the screw chuck. The Vic Barnes VM100 with step jaws. Okay. Now, to do the top face, 1/2-inch spindle gouge again. I'm just going to do these cuts where I pivot my hips in, so essentially a pull cut again. There it is, okay. Depth drill. And what doing those little pivoting cuts in there does for me is it gives me these places to ride the bevel, and just helps me be a little bit more efficient when I'm hollowing the inside of the bowl. I don't have to worry as much about my entries, my initial entry cuts, because those can be a little bit difficult. The goal is to essentially get to the bottom of my depth hole as fast as possible to see where all the other cuts are going. It just helps me to develop the curve a little bit more accurately. stop, check, see how we're cutting, see how things are going. Decent cut quality. Again, this stuff's got a lot of figure in it. Before I get too thin, I'm gonna come back and do the rim. Probably gonna want to scream at me as I'm getting down here, getting thinner. You can see these concentric lines as I come down the side of this bowl here. That's from my bevel being a bit long, so I'm going to go and remove the heel, and hopefully that'll get rid of some of those. There that is with the heel removed. Just shortens the bevel. My gouge also feels as though it's not cutting as properly as it should. Okay, we've gouged the touched up edge. I have some shavings in my left hand to support the side of the bowl and help with the heat as I make these cuts. Much better. Okay, getting that thickness to a place where I like it, feels good, fits nice in the hand, all that fun stuff. So, okay, that's pretty good. Now from here, I like to come in with a scraper instead of a gouge. I feel like I have more control that way. Another thing to note here, I'm not aiming for an ultra thin bowl here. I almost can't. The wood will be a little bit too brittle. Kiln dried wood, when it's dried, tends to be a bit more brittle because it turns the sap into a powder, among other reasons. This is also highly figured, so that makes it a little bit more fragile than if it wasn't. Not the greatest cut up in there. This will get power sanded with 120, should be fine. feels as though it's just not cutting as it should. It's not the worst quality. It's a bit picked up on the figure down there. So I'm going to put a new edge on the scraper. Okay, nice fresh edge on the scraper as well. I just feel that not cutting quite as good as I would like it to. Yeah, a little bit picked out there, but should stand quite happily with 120. Refining that curve so it's at a place that I'm happy with. Feels good in the hand. It's a nice, smooth, flowing curve. Still a lump in the middle. That feels much better. Okay, good stuff. So this will get sanded starting at 120 grit, moving through the grits to 320. Furnished with the shavings, bit of beeswax, oily sock, maybe a bit of oil. This is walnut oil. Okay, one last buff with the non-waxy sock, or slightly less waxy sock. Try and get rid of as much excess as possible. And that is one completed, beautiful, highly figured maple bowl. Wow. See the foot detail? No discernible chuck marks at all. Nice utilitarian bowl.